It would be nice if we'd had more, but happy with that. The chicks are almost 4 weeks now, and they've been in the garage for a little bit. I can't remember when I put them out here, but there was definitely time for them to come out. They're making a big mess in the garage, but what can you do? These chicks have a lot of go. They are very active, sprightly little chicks who have the biggest foraging instincts I've ever seen, which is good. I guess that's why they have a good feed conversion ratio, because they're so driven to forage and find food. You can definitely see now that we have 2 boys and 2 girls. I'm glad we have 2 girls. If we'd just had one, that would have been really bad and awkward. So at least 2 girls. I mean, that's what I was thinking about buying in the first place, 2 pullets. So it would be nice if we'd had more, but happy with that. Just got to keep them alive now and then figure out what to do with the 2 boys. Their names keep changing. My favourite one was Fluff Bomb originally, because that's what it looked like. It was the roundest one. It just looked like a fluff bomb. They've all now got gold mining names. Angus's favourite one, which is a boy, is called Gold Rush. That was a name suggestion I had, and then decided they were all going to have gold mining names because they've got cool gold colours in them. My favourite one is now called Gold Mine, and Scarlett's favourite one has changed names the most. It's called Gold Strike, I think, or Gold Stripe, or Gold Strike. And Steve's favourite one, which was Carrot Top, because it had the most orangey spot on its head. What's that one called now? What's your name? I can't remember what it's called, Gold Nugget or something. The 2 boys have very pink combs. They're starting to look a little bit nicer now, starting to get more stripy feathers and more gold feathers coming in, especially the girls. What are you doing? Angus already fed you. Angus has been doing a great job of helping look after them. He checks on them, their food and water. He just topped up their food, and he gets them bugs like 3 times a day. Little worms, centipedes, slaters, other things that he can find. So they really like him, and they really like whenever we open the cage, they get super excited because they think there are going to be bugs. I got out one of the blue bottom cages, which I had bought with plans to use for taking our chickens with us when we move, but also for things like this, when I need to house chickens or chicks inside away from the others. It's working out better than the big cage, even though it's making some mess on the floor. Considering how much these guys are frisking around, the big cage didn't have any sides. I just had to prop up bits of wood or cardboard or stuff, so This is doing pretty well, and Angus had the idea to sit it in this wagon, and it fits just exactly in there, so that's quite handy too, to keep them up off the ground a bit. And they seem to have been fine in there. The gaps, they're bigger than what I guess the netting is on our old big cage, but I don't think they would ever have been able to fit through there. The only thing I've been concerned about is rats getting through the gaps. Just because I know rats can get through pretty small spaces, but you got 2 foods or some grit? Okay. I'm going to put it in the container. The only trouble I've had with them out here is that they have a great desire to sleep under the water here, which is obviously not helpful. The first night they were in here, for some reason it decided to malfunction, probably because I rinsed it out and I don't know what happened, but the nipple got stuck, and so I came out and there was water splashed everywhere, and the water was almost gone in there, and the wood shavings were all wet, and they were trying to sleep in wetness, and that was not great. But every night when I come out here, they've been either under there or somewhere in this corner. So I've tried putting them under the heat plate. We've had such warm nights lately, I don't think they actually need it, but I've been putting them in the corner over there beside it, so they're at least beside the heat plate if they do need it, and away from the water, because wet chicks are not healthy chicks. But chickens are very hard to break from their sleeping habits, so we'll see where they go tonight. They're not quite getting it yet. Oh look, little one's sitting on the tiny roost Angus put in there. Maybe they'll start sleeping on there, who knows. They're like, bugs, bugs, where are the bugs? Because he's been stuffing his face. Yeah. There's been so much going on lately that I haven't had a lot of time in the garden, but I managed to get all my beans planted out the front before we got more rain, and I've just started working on getting the cucumbers in. Still got more cucumbers and peppers and a few other bits and pieces to get in, as well as some maintenance stuff that needs to be done too. I've got my gherkins planted along this fence in the climbing bed. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 of them are not super great looking ones. It turned out that I think half or more than half of my cucumbers, pumpkins, squashes, got eaten by slugs on the table, so that's okay, at least some survived. And I'm going to plant the rest of the cucumbers along here. The self-sowed nasturtiums are looking lovely. Unfortunately, the lettuces are getting savaged by the birds still, so I'm not quite sure what to do about that. I've just put some more homemade bait in the slug bait stations. Steve's made me a couple more because there's a lot of stuff in the garden that needs protecting. This bed here really needs another one, another bait station down the end by the celery. The celery's fine. Actually, my coriander survived because I moved a bait station down there for a little while, so that's good. But a bunch of the carrot seedlings have been eaten by slugs and snails. You can see stems that have been gnawed off all over the place. Thankfully, some of them are still alive, but a lot of them have just been eaten. The pansies are doing heaps better with the bait stations around. It's so nice to actually have flowers. These peppers have survived so far. And the the peas. I'm pleased to report that I think two of the purple potted pea plants came back from the dead. Well, almost dead.
Dad,
Yeah.
can we pet them?
Yep. Hold on, I need to check which ones are ready. We've eaten a couple of the peas from the pods already. I think those are just the green, what were they called? Green feast peas. Those ones are still a little bit small. What else? Here, you hold these.
Not eating them.
Okay, just wait. It's hard to see them because they're all green.
What about those two?
Hold on. Oh, yeah, these ones are, it's moving along this way a little bit. These ones are getting a bit fat. Oh, that one's getting really fat. Actually, I think that one's past it. Let's leave that one for seed, because we do actually need to leave some for seed. Here you go. You can have those ones. See if Angus wants any peas.
Can I eat
You want
one?
some peas? Yep, you can eat those ones.
Flower.
Yay! These lettuces under the netting have been doing really well. Look at this. This is what happens when they're hidden from the birds. Except that the red ones got eaten by slugs or snails for some reason. The spinach down here has been getting a little bit eaten, but I think it might actually be more from birds than slugs and snails, otherwise it would be completely gone. The beans are doing well. We've got the bush beans along here. Thanks to the bait stations, they have all survived, I think. And then the climbing beans start here beside the peas. Some of those have been a bit nibbled. I think that one may not survive. It's had its top eaten off. These two bush beans got a bit nibbled, but they're still alive. Climbing beans are climbing up the strings, which is always nice to see. Once they get going, they just take off. So it looks like most of the beans are pretty much okay. So glad about that. Oh, I just about forgot there are bush beans over here too. I need to get these tomatoes wound up their strings. I've done the ones over there. Unfortunately, two of them look like they've got a virus, so I'm probably going to have to pull those out. They're just super curled and shriveled at the tops, which is not great. But we've got more bird-eaten lettuces, and these tomatoes over here look great. I need to get those tied onto the fence and trimmed. The orac is going nuts. I pinched out the tops to try and keep it bushy, but I'll have to do that again. The comfrey has definitely gone nuts. I need to get that trimmed and put either straight onto the garden beds as mulch and fertiliser in one, or into the compost. And the boysenberry is as out of control as ever. And what have we? Oh, I forgot those climbing beans were there too. Whoops! I need to get those strings out for them. And then in the arch trellis bed, we've got more beans that are doing well. I think these ones have all been okay. Just a little bit nibbled, but I think they've all survived, which is actually probably a first, I think. And that's probably only thanks to having bait stations in there. I had one over at this end for a while, and then we've got one over there. So they're obviously helping a lot. And then we've got our cherry tomatoes over here, which are just getting poked through the wires, so that's quite easy to train them. Some little celeries down there, which are struggling a little bit. It's gotten quite hot and sunny after the rain, so it's definitely been one extreme to the other this spring. All the leeks are suddenly shooting to seed. Little forest of tall spikes. Out in the front plot we have a forest of kale gone to seed still, which I need to deal with. I did a big effort getting this row, I was going to say tomato row, but it's not a tomato row this time. Bean and carrot row, getting that done before we had a bunch of rain. So I actually transplanted out the old lettuces and spinach from the tray that was on the table. I just bunged them in there pretty close together, and they're taking a little while to come back, but they should be right once they get going. We've got a mixture of carrots in here. The beans are doing really well, climbing already. I had to get each section weeded and mulched before I could get them planted, and then get them planted around the carrots. I had to pull out a few small carrots, but that's alright. Some of these bean leaves have got a little bit of sunburn just from not being used to the sun, but I can't do much about that at the moment because we've got sun. This is the last section I got planted here. Actually, it's not a full section, but that was all the plants I had. So we've got, the first section is green beans, well, green and purple potted beans, but for fresh eating. And these second two sections are dried beans, so they'll just be left to dry out. And more carrots. The last section, I need to finish weeding that. That's probably got the most carrots in there. And then more weeding in the rows, well, paths mostly, and rows, and more mulch onto the potatoes, and deal with all these brassicas that have gone to seed or not quite finished yet. Actually, just noticed we've got a cauliflower here that's ready to pick. And then this is just like craziness over here. Yep. And then we've got potatoes in this row too, dotted all around the kale, with varying states of mulch. These ones with the old chicken bedding mulch are looking quite happy, unsurprisingly. I actually forgot to sow my sunflower seeds until just recently, but they are mostly doing well now, other than some that have been eaten by slugs. To sound like a broken record, at least most of them are okay, but I've just had to start bringing them inside at night, along with the basil, which I've only got 4 little ones that have popped up in 2 trays. Assuming the rest got eaten by slugs. And then we've still got the rest of the peppers here that need to be planted. Cucumbers and pumpkins and squashes. Some more celery actually. There's still some sweet alyssum. And then the purple basil's been doing okay once it got going. And I've got a few random bits and pieces. We've still got our spinach, beets, and our purple pak choi is all going to seed in losing its purpleness, and then the spinach as well, what's left in there. So those are dwindling. The table is hopefully going to be free soon.